Hello, everyone. This is Tony Geraci, and thank you for watching Real Estate Leaders with Tony Geraci. So today we have some great people on. We have a special guest, Mike Ferrante with the 21 Mike team from Central 21 HomeStar here in Northeast Ohio. And of course, Dave Finale, my cohort, my confidant in this great thing we're doing here with our talk show and helping agents grow their business. And we're going to be bringing on more and more guests. But we started off with maybe the best, right?
Absolutely.
Right? Start off the best.
Absolutely.
Start. You know, I've set the bar high. So just to give you a little introduction of Mike. Mike is the number 2 team of Central 21 in the whole country, with over 350 sales in 2018. And also he's in the top 10 teams in Northeast Ohio. And in Northeast Ohio, for a lot of you who are watching this that might not be in our market, we have some mega teams. Definitely when I see other markets, especially in Ohio, number 1 team in other markets, large markets in Ohio, but we have some tough competition up here in Northeast Ohio. So being in the top 10 is very, very good, and we're glad to have him with our office. So, but first, we're going to talk, some of the topics we're going to talk about today is goals and commitment. So Dave, I'll have you start off and ask Mike a few questions on some of the things that made him, his goals and commitments, and how he has been successful in his real estate career.
Absolutely. As we all know, I mean, I always talk about goals and commitment in a special way. Goal to me is an idea. Unless you've got the commitment behind it, the goal is nothing. It's a lot of crap, right? So when you have a goal, you think about something that you want to achieve, and then you build a commitment toward it with action steps. Then you have to perform. For me, the acronym is GCAP, right? Goals, commitment, action plans, and performance. Mike, tell us about your story. Tell us where you started and where you are now, you know, in a synopsis of, you know, your start in real estate.
That's a good question. So I think a lot of people can relate to my story because I, like many people, sort of ended up in the real estate business. I don't know a lot of agents who say, hey, I'm going to be a realtor from day one. You know, you don't ask kids in elementary school, what do you want to be? And they say realtor. So I was actually in a construction job as a project manager, and I've always had an appetite for real estate, but I got my license as a part make extra money. You know, how many people out there can relate to that? And things change, you know, and speaking of goals and, you know, making it something that's real, Dave, you know, it's that's what happened to me. Something changed. The job that I really used to love became unbearable. I hated it, you know, and I decided, I think, again, like a lot of agents out there, I need to ramp up my business so that I can quit this job.
Right.
And that's what happened. My needs, desires changed. And so I had a very strong motivating factor. And when I sat down with my wife and said, hey, what is it going to take for you to bless and for, you know, to be behind me quitting the job? And we basically agreed that when I could match my income in real estate production, that's when I could give my 2 weeks notice, a day like it was yesterday. So I ramped up my production. I became a high producing single agent. From there, I grew a team. And like Tony said, the rest is history.
So what was the most important thing when you started out part-time? What was the most important thing you had to do in order to achieve that income matching goal?
So when I started part-time, again, it was extra money. When I made the decision, when I had that life-changing event, it wasn't one event, but it was, you know, every day, that grind going to work.
Right.
You know, the most important thing was, you know, first of all, setting that goal. And it was a real thing. It was, I'd like to is not a goal. Having a number in mind, right? Yeah, having a number in mind and then figuring out a plan to get there. That's what it's all about. So I had this very real goal, and I figured out a plan to get there, and I executed it. And the day that I gave that notice, again, it's one of the best days of my life. I loved working there for a while, but when I quit and said, I'm going to do this full time, it was a great day.
I have a question for you, Mike. In your financial, I use that example a lot. So you said, I want to match what I make in a year. So let's just round numbers. Like if you're saying, I want $100,000 in real estate to match my $100,000 that I'm making here. and then you took the jump. Were you making double income? Did you go down that next year in income, or were you able to keep that going so you didn't have that drop in total income?
No, I think that quitting the full-time next year, it was a drop in income, but I was able to go from 65 units that year to 90 something. So it wasn't like my income got cut in half, but no doubt about it. And I think planning for that was part of the process, and having a supportive spouse who also has income, that helped too. So everyone's situation is different. And for my situation, I was lucky enough to be able to take that small hit the first year and not having the double income.
Right.
I think this all goes with I mean, he had a goal, and a goal, like I said, is an idea, but he committed to it. But he started with and got into a point where he got the end in mind. He knew where he wanted to go. And since he knew exactly and had a definite and specific idea, or more than idea, of where he wanted to go, he was able to commit to what he had to do in order to get there. And how long did that take you, Mike, to go from the start to being full-time?
I would say it was about a year.
Okay.
So for about a year, the job started becoming miserable. And over the course of that year, I busted my butt and worked the extra hours. I mean, I could tell you about some of the specific things I did. I mean, if that would be interesting.
Yeah,
but
please.
So here, let me just give you one example, because this is the one objection that gets under my skin when I talk to agents, maybe that I'm coaching or mentoring, or teammates even. They say, I don't have time. I don't have time for that. Okay. You know what? Talk to me, 10 years ago when I'm working 55 hours a week at a job and trying to create a new business that I'm going to leave the job for. When you've done that, now talk to me about not having time. But anyway, it's all about time blocking and figuring out how you're going to accomplish these things. So the one example that I cite that was the number one reason I was able to get out of the job and into my own business was that I used the drive home from work to do my prospecting calls. Now, again, I was safe about it. I'm using hands-free and everything, and I had everything all working.
Good point.
Don't try this at home type, right?
Yeah. But that 30 to 50 minute drive home every day, while it's not ideal, I'd love to have an hour every day of dedicated prospecting calling, but I had 30 to 45 minutes every single day, 5 days a week, where I was following up on leads. I was prospecting. And I think that is the number one thing that enabled me to build that book of business, that sphere that got me to the next level. But I did it every single day. It's the things that you do regularly that build your business. So the one activity that I did during that 1 year, that was it.
So let me make one. Go ahead, Tony.
Oh, I was going to say similar. I started in '92. And this is, back in '92 before you could DVR things, and you had to set your VCR. I think we still had the VCRs.
Right.
People today were like, "Oh, you remember that '90s show?" I go, "No, I don't remember any '90s TV shows. I'm working during those '90s shows."
Right.
Yeah.
And then I that's one of the things, kind of like what you say, time blocking. I talk to agents all the time, and I go, "Have you watched that show, that show?" And they go, "Yeah, I'm watching like 5 different TV shows and series."
Right.
I'm like, if you have that time, you're not time blocking enough to work.
Cut out one show and make phone calls during that time, right?
Right.
Exactly. See, here's the thing about I love the expression, I don't have the time. And since I started talking about that line, and when people say that, since I started saying what that really means, I have never used that phrase. And the reason people say, well, I don't have the time, it doesn't mean they don't have the time. It means they don't want to. That's exactly what it means. I don't have the time. No, you don't want to. Now, if you said to me, I haven't been able to make the time, kind of still. But if they say I have to make the time, you push them, right? So when you talk about making time, you talk about wanting to do something or not wanting to do something, the time blocking. Now, look, I believe that is not time management. I believe time management is something that just is not possible. But what I do believe is if you set your mind that 30 minutes or an hour is going to do this, 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 and this, if you can really do that, like people in the company I work with, 8 to 11, every freaking day, it's contact connection time. That's what they do, 8 to 11 every day, right?
Yeah.
And if they don't do it, they're hurting themselves
Right.
too. But they've got to answer to everybody else because it's a team, right? So time blocking and then going into getting the work. Now, very important question I have for you, because I run up against this, and then since I do, I'm going to think most people do, because I'm kind of an average human being. Were there days on the drive home that you just wanted to listen to music, that you didn't want to do the prospecting? I mean, you just don't want to say, screw that. I don't want to do that shit today. I'm going to listen to music and blow my head off.
Right.
How about that?
Yeah. Of course, and Tony, I'm sure there's days when you don't feel like going to the gym, right? But go ahead and show us a bicep. Come on.
Oh no, I don't do that.
Yeah, see, no, Dave, I don't want to see your bicep. But Tony, seriously, it's like anything else. There's always those days. I don't feel like making the call. I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't feel like devoting a little extra time to my spouse or my significant other. Those are the days that you especially have to do it. So am I going to, can I tell you in all honesty, there wasn't one day when I made one call and said, well, I got an appointment, I'm done, for the next 30. But you know what? I earned those days, Dave. I earned them.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. Well, it's not something that you do. Everything you do you enjoy doing, right? It's work, but you enjoy your career. We enjoy our careers.
That's right.
There's parts of it you don't, but you have to go through it.
Yeah.
As a team leader, a broker, manager, that we've all been through this with customers, clients, agents, and coaching and mentoring, and also and being their cheerleader. Sometimes it's, those days are hard to cheerleader. Like my family, they know. I mean, this happy face is not always happy some days, and it's in the mornings. Like actually, in the mornings, I have to have time to myself in the morning. I got to get my thoughts in order. I got to get ready, and a lot of times, kids, my spouse, everything never ask me for something important in the morning, because I'm got my day and what I'm accomplishing for the day. I always compare it to like when the people in my life that didn't understand it at first. I go, when you see like LeBron James sitting there, had his headphones on, and he's practicing, getting ready for the game. That's kind of how I feel in the mornings. No one's like knocking his headphones off and go, hey, by the way, what do you want to eat for lunch? Like, no, this is not a time. I'm setting up for the day. And that's what I try to explain to agents. You got to have time to set yourself. Like you practice, you got to get ready mentally for what you're doing. Unless this is, if you think it's to do and you love it, you can pick up the phone and you're happy all the time, great. But you got to prepare. What kind of things can you say that you do to prepare yourself for a whole day or a prospecting? What do you do?
What I do is probably not very exciting, but to me, it's all about having a plan and having the schedule. So knowing ahead of time what you're going to do. I think that a big mistake that agents make is they say, okay, I'm going to prospect for an hour on Tuesday, but it's not in their calendar. They say an hour on Tuesday. Next thing you know, it's noon. What'd you do this morning? I went to the grocery store. I answered some emails. I was working. I was answering emails, Tony. I was working, but you didn't do the activity you said you were going to do. Now it's noon, and then you do a few more things, and now it's dinner time, and you're making dinner, and now it's 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock. Well, now it's too late to call. I'll do it tomorrow. So I think having a plan, having it on the schedule, however you choose to do that, when that clock strikes the hour that activity happens, you do it. It's an appointment, and I think that's the difference between what a lot of people do and what it's on the calendar. It's an appointment in my calendar, even if it's prospecting calls for an hour.
Right. That's good.
I see that, and I think one of the things that you've been able to do is that you've been able to keep the motivation, the drive, and staying in motion, the inertia, so to speak, to keep going and whatnot. Because I know me, that if I stop, like, it's never on a weekday. It might be on a Saturday late afternoon, and I allow myself an excuse or two on a Saturday afternoon or night, honestly, simply because I know I've given 100% all week. And if I know, look, I'm really good at wasting time. So I can really know when I'm wasting time. So if I waste time and I actually have to say at the end of the day, I didn't get much done, well, that's a bad day for me. Even though I know for most people, I've gotten more than they could have gotten done, even in those days I time waste. But, you know, I've said it before on here. I've said it before, other times. I mean, if you need a break, just set a timer for 10 minutes and take that 10-minute break. And however your ritual is really important. Let me ask you another question as we move forward on this. You now have a team that you work with? Is that right?
Right.
Okay. So how have you been able to share your experiences to help them emulate your success?
Yeah, everyone's different. I think that's the first thing to recognize. You know, just like Tony with the brokerage and me with the team, there's no one size fits all. And I think that you have to kind of dig into each person and figure out first, and I know it sounds trite to talk about this, but, you know, what's your why? You know, why do you want it? You know, so for me, it was the job became dreadful, and I needed to get out of there. I needed that from the core of my being. So I think for each person, you know, you figure out what your why is, and you to put it up on the wall. You know, figure out what you want. You know, is it I got 4 kids and I got to put them through school because I want something for them that I never had? Is it you know, I need this because I want to travel the world and I need to be able to afford to take one vacation every year? You know, whatever it is. And I think starting with that why, and then figuring out a plan of how they're going to get there, because it's not my plan may not work for them. I mean, we all know this is it's a simple business, but it's not easy. I think that's what they say. So, you know, what's your plan going to be? What works with you?
Was your end always to build a team? What was your thought in mind?
I was laughing earlier when Dave said that, because just like I never intended to be a full-time agent, I swore, and you're probably asking me this because you remember me saying this, I swore I'd never have a team. I'm like, why would I want to worry about a bunch of other people? I'm just going to do what I do. And then
our world
changes. What's that?
I said, welcome to the world of the broker.
Right, exactly. Well, it's same with me. I got my broker's license in '98, opened up the office 21 years ago, and I was just my plan was just be a one-man show and do my own thing. And 400 agents later, it just grew, and I would never change a thing about it. I'm so happy about what I get to do every day. I never thought, I thought when I was going to be happy with just managing and helping myself, but me, you know, I at least once a day I said, I have agents going, how do you handle so many agents? And especially, I'm sure Mike, same thing. How you probably talk to some of your team members, go, how do you handle all these team members? It's just, you love to do it, or you wouldn't do it, because you could easily go back to one agent in a second if you wanted to, you know. So these are the things that, you know, it's nice to, it's great to see you help other people. I never thought that until I started helping people. So I'm sure you see the same thing with your team.
Yeah, no doubt. So I think it's a combination of two things. But first, the need changing. You know, you realize that at a certain point, you've worked as many hours as you can work, and if you strive to attain something more, you know, okay, great, I can close 60 deals by myself, or 70 or 80, whatever it is. But if I want to increase my income because of some that I have, the only way to do that is through leverage. So, you know, I did decide at some point that not only do I enjoy, as you do, Tony, helping people. You know, that's one of I do the free classes here at the office mainly because I just like it. You know, I enjoy that feeling of doing a class at the office and people asking questions and saying, yeah, I know the hour's over, but can you stay longer? You know, that's a really great feeling. So that satisfaction that I get from helping other people grow their business. And oh, by the way, you know, it increases my capacity to earn income. So it's a win-win-win, because the teammates are winning as well.
So when you put
and Dave,
go ahead, Tony.
I was going to say, Dave, do you see it too? And Mike, you've seen that the teams have been growing. You know, the term team. You've been reading in the news. You've been seeing more teams building. I'm thinking, I would like both your opinions if anybody's watching this and thinking about building a team. I think people or want to grow a team, well, of course, they want to increase their business, like you said, Mike, but also they enjoy helping people. They were by themselves, and then all of a sudden, when they help an agent or train an agent or mentor an agent, they go, wow. And then now a lot of agents now are realizing they don't have to open their own brokerage to do that. They could do that within a company. So we have mega teams that definitely could be their own company, but they do that with inside a company. And I think I see that as a trend. And are you both seeing that too?
You definitely are seeing that. But every now and then, I mean, look, we're all people. We're always going to be the same. So one way or the other, the same kind of thing is going to happen. So I've recently seen a couple of people I know, not young people, but people I know getting their broker's license in New Jersey, need a broker's license, as you do, right? Opening up their own offices. And I scratch my head and I say, with the way the business models are changing and the way, I don't think, I'm personally of the opinion that, franchises might not be the way to go. But if you're in a really strong company with a strong broker that cares, why would you want to leave the nest? It's like kids not leaving home till they're married at 35 rather than after they leave college at 21, right? Look,
Right.
You don't have the problem of responsibility to a point when you have a team. So I would encourage anyone that's looking to be their own thing, think about team first rather than moving on. And then look, every broker wants you to stay, necessarily don't want you to leave. So talk to your broker first about building a team rather than saying, oh, I'm going to go open my own place. Yeah, go spend that $50,000 to $150,000 if you want. You don't have to. My opinion on teams is it's a great thing. I mean, Mike, you've done exactly what I've heard a lot of other people saying in your unique way. I know people all over this country that are in teams, in teams and are team leaders that just love what they do. And they said that they really couldn't love what they do if they ever became a broker owner, right? Because of the responsibility and the headaches and all this other stuff. So that's basically my opinion on team. And just to get back one thing so I don't forget, the why you talked about is all about accomplishment. No matter what that accomplishment is, there's all different kinds, right? And to try to figure out why you're going to do this and why you want to do it. I mean, you wanted a different lifestyle, which is why you decided that job wasn't for you anymore. And the real estate end was going to be for you. I said, you know what? I can enjoy my life better. Mm-hmm. And when I accomplish that, I'm going to do it. People need to have a lot more wins in their life than they do what's. And what I mean by that is, when I'm able to get to this income level, I can quit my job. You got to that huge win, right?
Yeah.
Then you did that huge win when you said, well, I want to increase my income. I want to help more people. I can do that with a team, which is why you did that. And when you did that, you got more joy out of helping people, right?
Absolutely. I can tell you that just the other day we were talking about the source of stress in my life, the few remaining sources of stress in my life. And, frankly, I don't get stressed out when I'm helping other agents. I kind of enjoy that. It's what the few deals that I'm still managing on my own, those stress me out. So I feel like the next step for me is to take it to that next level where basically my production becomes even more limited, and maybe I get out of production altogether, and then I'm really doing within the brokerage. I'm almost acting like a broker within a broker.
That sounds great. What do you think about focus? That's kind of our last kind of topic. Is what suggestions do you have for agents or teams on what you should focus on, and what's how much is focus important to you? You probably the people that focus, they don't even realize they're focusing. They just do it. Is it daily? Is it task oriented? Is it focus on a goal later you're going to get to? What's your take on that?
Yeah, the biggest thing I could say is write stuff down. If you focus on something but you just kind of think about it, I think it's less likely to happen. I don't know what the stats are, Dave. You probably read all this stuff. What are the stats on the percentage that a goal actually happens when it's written down versus when it's not written down? It's something crazy, right?
Yeah, it's a Harvard study, I believe. The people that don't write goals down, I think 1% of them achieve it. But when you write it down, it's over 50% or 70% that achieve the goal when you write them down.
It's insane, right? I mean, just that simple thing. So I would say, focus should be written. And whether you do an entire business plan, which of course I do recommend, or just have some kind of outline, or even just a list of the written goals that you're going to attain. So I think that's a huge part of it. I down. And then secondly, I've already mentioned it, but the calendar to me is so important. Again, it's that idea of I'm going to do this for an hour versus I'm going to do this from 8 to 9 o'clock.
So let me ask you a question on something that I have fought with agents for years. Now, you said that I've got it down in my calendar for an hour and that's what I'm going to do. Okay, whatever it is, your phone rings and it's something about a deal you're working on. Are you answering the phone? Or are you waiting till your block is up?
That's a good one.
It is a good question, but and I'm going to answer it, and then I'm going to tell you why you can believe me that I'm telling the truth.
Okay.
All right. So the answer is I do not answer the phone. I finish whatever it is that I'm doing.
Thank you.
And the reason you know that I'm telling the truth is that my phone has been on silent for like the last 6 years. So my phone is not going to be a source of for whatever it is that I'm doing. My phone is a tool for me to use. It's not an electronic leash to pull me in when it wants me.
Nice.
So, and that's the fact. My wife sometimes gets frustrated with me because she'll be calling me and she's like, "Why didn't you answer your phone?" I'm like, "Oh, it doesn't ring. My phone doesn't ring."
You're my hero. You have just proven my point. Okay. You have to leave that device alone. Now, in all transparency, you may have seen me looking down when we started the broadcast. I was sharing this broadcast all over my network. That's why I was on my phone.
Okay, you're forgiven.
In full transparency, just want you to know that, right?
Yeah.
But I have said this for years to agents. I say, don't answer the phone. Okay, so you have to make, so years ago, I mean, this was an alternate device to that other thing. I don't even have one in here. A regular phone, right?
Yeah.
I do have a landline in my house, which is where my office is, only because I have antique phones. So, and I want them to work, right? That's why I have a landline. But
you have one of the ones that like this, you hold up to your ear.
Exactly. I have one from 46 that is like, it's a weight. I could use it to work out with. That's how heavy it is. They were made of steel back then. Right. Anyway, I digress. But the point is that I keep telling people, you do this, you do not answer the phone. And people say, well, I tell my customers I'm available 24/7. I've had agents say that they won't tell their clients when they're going on vacation. It's just amazing. Oh, you're not a human being? I tell people, look, when I had my brokerage, 7 p.m., 8 p.m. at night, do not call me afterwards. I will not answer the phone. Saturdays and Sundays, I am not available till noon on both those days. And on Sunday after like 5 o'clock. If you call me, I will not pick up the phone because here's the reason. And I'm pretty sure this is true. You can help me out here. No one ever died from not being able to talk to their realtor after 8 o'clock at night. I don't think that's ever happened. And I don't think many people have died from a real estate transaction. So your focus that you just talked about is so very important. And I wish every agent would have learned that and be human beings.
Yeah. Now the distinction I'll make is that while no one ever died, there have been people that I've wanted to kill as a result of a real estate transaction.
Right. Well,
and right there,
it sounds like I'm making this up, but I just so much enjoy what I do, but I do time block for when I'm going to talk to people. So I have agents that call me. Anybody of you who are watching this, that in the morning before 10 o'clock, unless it's an emergency, I'm not going to pick up the phone. If I have people calling me, I have things that I have to get done and organized for the day.
Yeah.
Reply back to them. I got your message. I'll call you later. And in the evenings, it's only really for emergencies. That's it. And I've done a lot better. I used to be that person like Dave and Mike were talking about. I used to pick up the phone no matter what and start talking to people before I knew what they wanted. So now, I started asking people, I will talk to you, no problem, I'll help you, but I need to know what it's regarding. Because if it's not regarding something that's really an emergency. I might have to help someone that has an emergency right now. So if you let your clients know that, or if you're a team leader or a broker and you're watching this, just my tip is, if you let everybody know, I'm happy to help you in any emergency situation. These are my times that I'm available. I'm not available at all for anything, but you got to let me know what it's regarding. If you don't mind, it could be in my zone of when I make the call, because I got personal time, I got family time, I've got work time, I have other appointments. As long as they know you're going to address them in a timely fashion, whenever that time could be, the next day, morning, later that day, I think everybody is okay with that.
Yep.
And I know the three of us here never go 24 hours without getting back to people, right? It's that.
Yeah, so I believe there's expectations that real estate agents need to set with their clients. Look, we're on our own business, and we wake up every day unemployed to a point. And those people, those are our store hours. Those are the hours that we're open. And you know what? You're not going to get your doctor, your attorney on the phone at 11 or 12 o'clock at night. You're just not going to, right? But it all goes along with what you set up for yourself and what your rituals are. I mean, I've got a couple of friends of mine in Arizona. There's a couple that they're heavy duty broker owners, and they don't talk to anybody, do anything before 10 a.m. in the morning. They work out, family time, get their own peace in their head, and then they start at 10 a.m. It's kind of opposite of what a lot of us do, but it really works for them. They're ultra successful. But that's just an example of setting your own time blocking, setting your own schedule, and having a ritual in your life for everything.
Right. Well, we hit the 30-minute mark. Any last 1 minute suggestions, Mikey, you would give, and Dave, you would give to agents and teams and people who want to grow its focus?
Yeah, I have one comment, and it just ties into what you guys just said. So we've harped on scheduling things, time blocking, putting things on your calendar. Here's my advice. The first thing that you put on your calendar is not the prospecting time. It's not the listing appointment, buyer appointment. The very first thing you put on your calendar is that time. You schedule your vacations. If you have time with your family, if you have if whatever is important to you, those are the first things that go on your calendar. And I know it sounds contradictory based on what we just talked about, but it's not. Those go on your calendar first, and then you schedule everything else.
Exactly. I like to bring it all into focus. And we've talked about goals and commitments, starting with the end in mind. We're tying it all together here with our focus of our lives, right? In our businesses. I believe there's three things we need to work on. One is personal, business, and family. And I always ask people, what order should that be in? I'm a firm believer that personal is first. Why? Because if you don't have yourself together, you're not going to be able to give yourself of the family and of your business. Yeah. Setting your vacation time up for the year is beautiful. It's absolutely perfect. You've got to be doing that. Like for me, first time in my entire life, I've set a time up for next July. I'm going to be in Los Angeles in July for at least 7 days. Why? The All-Star game is there at Los Angeles Dodger Stadium. I haven't been to yet. I want to go there. So I've already said that. I've already bought the hat for next year's All-Star game. So I've already scheduled that for myself. So that's perfect. So that brings everything into focus of time, commitment, goals, etc. Thanks for being on. It was great.
Right, and just my last question, and is to tie in what you just said, which was great, is I'll add to that, is that when you schedule time with your family, your friends, and all that, like throughout the week or month, that helps you because you're going to spend time with them. But on those days when you are busy and you need to work and you have things scheduled, when those people, kids, spouses, friends, go, hey, let's go do something, you have it already on your schedule. I'm sorry, today's Tuesday. I'm busy all day. I really can't meet with you, or I'm sorry. I'll say, see you for about an hour after dinner or whatever. But we do have time scheduled this week. Remember, so you could really help them, because the people around you, the special people around your family, friends, might not understand that. Like, hey, I remember when both my boys are in college now, so they don't need as much as my time. But when they were little, like, Dad, I want to do this. I go, yeah, but we have this plan tomorrow night. We're going to do that. I'm sorry, I got to work tonight. So it helps the people around you too. So
yeah,
but I want to thank you, Mike. Thank you very much for your precious time, and Dave, as always. And thank everybody for watching. And next week at 11, we'll be talking about structure, time blocking. Starting small and slow is okay, but increasing the goal of the block and money producing activities. So those are the topics for next week. So hopefully everybody can watch.
That's great.
So
we got a great start in the time blocking. We're ready to go. Thanks a lot, Tony. Thank you, Mike.
All right. Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.
Take care.